Good morning, children. Today we are going to see the lesson called The Selfish Gaint from the Supplementary Reader. It's a third lesson, and the author of this lesson is Oscar Wilde. So I'm going to summarize the entire lesson, but you have to read the lesson properly from the textbook. Okay? This lesson is related to the children as well as the giant, how they have met each other. So how the story moves, this lesson shows you. Okay, children used to play in the giant's garden every afternoon. They did so while coming from school. It was a large, lovely garden. It had soft grass. There were fruit trees in it. They bore rich fruits. The birds sang sweetly. The children were happy to play in it. One day, the giant came back after 7 years. He had stayed with his friend, the Cornish ogre. He was his friend. He saw the children playing in his garden. The children ran away as they saw him. He said that it was his own garden. He would not allow anyone to play here. And later he built a wall around it. He also put a notice board. It had warning on it. Trespassers will not be left. The children had no other place to play. They used to wander around the high walls. They used to talk about the beautiful garden inside. The spring came. There were blossoms and the little birds. But it was winter in the giant's garden. The birds did not sing as there were no children in the garden. Once a beautiful flower came out of the grass, but it saw the notice board. It went back to sleep again. The giant's garden, there were the snow and the frost. Everything in it looked white. There came the north wind. It stayed with them. The hail also came. The selfish giant looked at the cold and the white garden. The spring did not come to his garden because there were no children. And there were golden fruit in the autumn, but it did not come to his garden. The winter, the north wind, the hail, the frost, the snow danced there. One morning, the giant heard some lovely music. It was very sweet. He thought that it must be the king's musicians who are singing. But it was a linnet. Linnet is a kind of a bird which sings. She was singing outside his window. The giant found its song very sweet. Then the hail stopped dancing. The north wind stopped. The giant felt that the spring had come. The giant saw the most lovely sight. The children had entered his garden through a little hole. They were sitting in the branches of the trees. The trees were very glad to have the children. They had blossomed. The birds were flying about. The flowers were also looking up. It was a lovely sight, but in one corner there was a still winter. In that corner, a small boy was dancing and standing. He could not reach the branches of the trees. He was crying and wandering about. The north wind blew and roared. The trees asked the boy to climb. It bent its branches down, but the boy did not climb it. The giant's heart melted at this scene. He said that he was really selfish. He also said that he now understood why the spring did not come to his garden. He would put that a little boy on the top of the tree. He would also pull down the wall. His garden shall be the children's playground forever. He was very sorry for that what he has done. When the children saw the giant, they ran away again. The garden became winter again. Only the little boy did not run. He was weeping. He did not see the giant coming. The giant put the boy up into the tree. The tree blossomed at once. The little boy kissed the giant. The other children saw that the giant was not wicked, so they came running back. With them came the spring. The giant told the children that it was their garden. At last the giant realized and told the children that it was their garden. He pulled down all the walls which he was built around the garden. People saw the giant playing with the children during noon. And every afternoon the children came and played with the giant. But the giant wanted to see the little boy. The little boy did not come. Years went over. The giant grew very weak. He watched the children playing. He used to say that children were the most beautiful flowers. One winter morning, the giant suddenly rubbed his eyes. He saw a very beautiful scene. In one corner, there stood a lovely tree with the white blossoms. Its branches were golden. The little boy stood under it. The giant saw that the little boy was wounded. He had the print of two nails on his hands and feet. The giant was very angry. He said that he wanted to slap the man who had wounded the small boy. But the boy told the giant that those were the wounds of love. The giant at once asked the boy who he was. A strange fear fell on the giant. The boy smiled. He told the giant to come with him to his garden. His garden was like a paradise. The children, as well as the giant, they used to play each other every time before and after the schools. And at last, the children, one day, the children found that the giant dead under the trees. He was covered with the white blossoms.